So let's start at the beginning. Tell us about your background. You were born in Barbados. Tell us about that background and why you want to run for city council.
Oh, sure. So I was born in Barbados. I'm the fifth of 8 children from my mom and dad. And my father walked out on us when my mother was giving birth to number 8 in the hospital. And my oldest sister raised us. So life was not easy. We had nothing then. My mother went to work. She instilled good values in all of us, and me, including me. She also instilled the value of a good education. I attended Case Academy in Barbados, and we came to New York City in 1976 to enhance our lives. I joined the NYPD, rose to the rank of detective, continued to work in this ethnically diverse and challenging city. I retired in 2012 and decided, yes, to run for the city council.
I did see, though, that the COVID vaccination rates in this district, in District 46, are lower than the citywide average. What more can you do as a city councilwoman to help raise those rates?
Well, there's a need to further educate, collaborate with the community, and, try to entice the community to come out to get that jab. There is about probably a 32% of residents here in the 46 that have already been inoculated. But it's not good enough. I will work hard from day one. If I am elected to the city council, I'll hit the ground running, and I will personally go around the district and try my best to get that rate up to at least 50%.
What can you tell us a little bit about this district and its people?
Oh, the district is fabulous.
Of course it is.
The district is comprised of Canarsie, Mill Basin, Bergen Beach, Mill Island, Georgetown, Flatlands, Garrison Beach, Marine Park, and Sheepshead Bay. There are over 72 different languages that are spoken in this district alone. And most importantly, it's a small town in a big city where families are doing well, considering, we all suffered from the pandemic so we're all in the same boat. But my aim is to continue to build on the legacy of success that was here before I came, and to put families first. So it's about families. It's about the environment. Crime.
Yes. As a former NYPD detective, what will you do to address those rising crime rates?
There's so much that must be done. The council and the criminal justice system, all the ancillary services, must come together. Collaboration. From day one, we have to collaborate with each other. We have to look into each other's houses to see how we live in order to develop and attain that understanding before we could go forward. But the criminal justice system and the community must work together. And we have to build that trust, to trust each other. And we have to believe. And the laws must be revisited.
Are you talking about defund the police when you talk about revisiting the laws?
You cannot defund the police, but there are provisions that should be put in place to root out police corruption, wherever it is, the police officers who have those maladaptive behaviors. This is the 21st century. And places, entities like the NYPD must get in step with the norms of the 21st century. Everyone else are already on the bandwagon. Why are you still lagging behind? So it's necessary for the police and the communities, the lawmakers, all the stakeholders to come together. And instead of us having us against them, that syndrome, have to come to a medium with some common sense. And we must all be part of the village to attain that solution that we desire.
Would you say that there is systemic racism within the NYPD that has to be rooted out?
There's systemic racism in just about every entity. It's human nature. The Civil War ended about 55, 56 years ago, perhaps. Look at America now. You would think that we have made progress, don't get me wrong, but it all comes down to human nature and how we perceive each other. There's the lack of respect, and you have that lack of respect. How can you root out hatred, bigotry, corruption, all those maladaptive behaviors?
Right. So we talked about crime. We talked about the COVID-19 pandemic. I wonder, what would you say is the biggest challenge facing this district?
Homeowners are bleeding at the seams. Part of the problem also is because of the pandemic. And on the eastern part of the district, there are a lot of rentals. People cannot afford to pay their rents. And on the same hand, the landlords are suffering. If I'm a landlord and my tenant cannot afford to pay me his or her rent, how do I pay my mortgage? I'm not a wealthy landlord. Also, most importantly, in New York State and this district, there have been so many businesses that were shuttered, are shuttered, and will continue to be shuttered because of the pandemic.
Particularly small businesses.
Yes, absolutely. So you own a small business. How do you pay your rent from the business if you don't own the building? How do you pay your mortgage or your rent at home? How do you put food on your table? How do you put clothes on your children's back? What I would do if I am fortunate to sit on the city council is I would work with my colleagues, with our state and federal representatives, and I would also look into those loan packages that are constantly being released by the federal government. There've got to be a more efficient way of handling how the monies are being distributed. But small businesses need help. And it's really sad to see that a lot of them are not coming back. But we have to put a tourniquet on it and stop the bleeding.
And now, as a Caribbean immigrant, are there any specific challenges that you see facing immigrants in this district?
Oh, absolutely. Immigration. You have immigration, you have the loss of jobs. Yes, and those are two major challenges. Some people don't have a place to live. I have a constituent who approached me yesterday, or a potential constituent. She is 2 weeks away from being homeless. So I'm working with her. I will assist her. I will show her all the different services that she may be able to tap into to get that help. Nobody wants to go in a shelter. That's the first thing she told me, because they're perceived as some of the least desirable places to spend the night.
So as a Caribbean immigrant, as a woman of color, do you feel that you bring a unique perspective to the table?
I do. I am very familiar with the political landscape in this city. I've been up to the city council several times. I pay attention to details. I do not forget what is put before me, or I try not to forget. And also, I am the only first responder amongst the 8 or so candidates that are running. I live, I breathe New York City. I know the streets. I am familiar with people. I don't have an aversion to dealing with people. That's my life. That's my livelihood. I love it. This is what makes my engine roar.
Now, you have a doctorate in education. What would you do when it comes to the public school system and the schools?
From the first time I came to New York City, there's always been problems with the education system. The budget should be streamlined. And we often have that upstate, downstate split here in New York City, where we don't get our fair share. That must be addressed. And if I'm elected to the city council, that is one of the first issues that I will pay attention to and address, because you cannot operate without funds. Funds are badly needed. Also, we have to look at the fraud, waste, and abuse in education here. And it's about streamlining the programs that best fit our children, because our children are our leaders of tomorrow.
Now, you talked about homelessness. What would you do to tackle homelessness in the city?
When you go outside, look around you. You look at the empty lots and the abandoned buildings. It's a no-brainer. You build, build, build. People need places to live. No human being should have to live on the streets, on a subway grating. In the early 80s, when I worked as a young officer, I saw my share of homelessness in the New York City subway system and on the streets. So I've been there. I have lived among them by working with them and helping them. They don't deserve that. Put these young men and women who are willing and able to work in the construction agency. They can become apprentices, learn a trade. That will take care of part of the unemployment problem. And let them build houses instead of giving away the store to the fat cat developers. Take care of the downtrodden.
This upcoming election is the first time that New Yorkers are going to be using their ranked choice voting system. So tell us a little bit about how that will work.
Okay, well, ranked choice voting was a referendum that was put on the ballot a few years ago for election. The Board of Elections did not educate the public, the masses, on ranked choice voting. It has become a headache for them because a lot of people are unfamiliar with the ranked choice voting. And the premise of that is to give every candidate the opportunity to serve. So you can vote for up to 5 candidates by rank. If you rank me, Judy Newton, as your first choice, then you'll have the opportunity to rank 4 more candidates. And it's a process of elimination. The bottom half gets eliminated and it keeps getting eliminated until there's a winner.
And now your campaign has been endorsed by the incumbent, Councilman Alan Maisel. Here, he is term limited, so he is not running again. He has endorsed your campaign. Can you give voters 3 reasons why they should vote for you over your opposition?
I am the only candidate with the plans to help bring the 46 councilmatic district back into functioning the way it was before or better. I have been in this district in the trenches from COVID-19, where I assisted those seniors on a daily basis. I am assisting my potential constituents here in the district. I have worked tirelessly throughout this landscape, of which I'm very familiar with. I have made many, not just a difference, many differences here. Whenever someone or whoever lives in this district, whenever they need help, they call me. My phone number is not a secret. It's available to everyone. My brain is never on pause in this district. I also, as a community ambassador, I traverse this community on a daily basis, and I see what's not working, what is working, and I address the needs of the community. I am out there 20 hours a day, like I did when I worked. I'm a very hard worker. I am serious and passionate about what I continue to do. It's about reaching back and lending a hand, because quite often when we climb the ladder to success, we pull it up behind us. I will never do that. That ladder stays on the ground. And not only that, I reach back and pull the next person up.
And is that a part of what the Newton Foundation does, the community service, the activism as well?
Oh, yes, absolutely. The Newton Foundation was established by my husband, Richard Baxter, and I to assist, to fill in the gaps, the shortfalls in the community. We work with families first, families who reside in the shelters. We assist them with their needs. So the Newton Foundation is a community, domestic and international helper. It's all about service.
So we talked about service. We've talked about putting families first. We talked about building on the successes. Tell me, overall, what can the people of the 46th district expect if they vote for you?
The people of the 46th district, if they vote for me, they will continue to see that I am a leader, an honest leader who believes in hard work. I will always be at their service. I have the ability to bridge the gap for that collaboration. Like I said before, it has to be a collaborative effort. They can expect me, if I'm in the council, to be their servant leader and to assist them, to humbly assist them with their needs. And I will work very hard to rebuild what was damaged in this community. I will work to root out the scourge of crime, the gangs, and I will continue to assist those small businesses that need help. I will introduce programs that will help the youth. A program as simple as like a PAL program, community partnerships. We'll work with the clergies. It's very important to build that foundation. The religious leaders, all the leaders in the 46 and beyond, because the buck just does not stop here in the 46. We need a better quality of life here in the 46. It is good now, but in building on the legacy, we must continue to move forward in a positive light with positive assistance for the residents here. It's a middle-class community. It's a fantastic community. Look at the shoreline that we have here. It's gorgeous. It's just a beautiful, like I said, it truly is a small town in the big city.
All right. Well, Judy, thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure. I'm the fifth of 8 children from my mom and dad, and my father walked out on us when my mother was giving birth to